Good afternoon and welcome to today's lunch break with the Rabbi. Today is Thursday, December 10th, 2020. It is also tonight begins the first night of Chanukah, the 24th of Kislev today. And tonight we begin to light the first candle, the first light on the menorah, starting from the right as we light the first candle of the menorah. Today we're going to talk about, and as we move on for the next few days of Chanukah, we'll go into the deeper story, the story behind the story of Chanukah. So we all are very familiar with the story of Chanukah. I'm sure that the Greeks came and they tried to destroy the Holy Temple, they defiled the oil, and the Jewish people were looking for oil, and because of that, they had no oil to light the menorah, and it took 8 days until they got new oil, and so therefore they lit the menorah. The oil in the menorah lasted for 8 days. That's to sum up the story of Chanukah in one paragraph. But what's really going on over here? And why the oil, why the menorah, and why the symbolism of how we light the menorah today? The story behind the story. The oil of the menorah was symbolic of something greater, of what the Greeks tried to cause the Jews to sin with. The Greeks came along, they were very intelligent people, and they came along and they told the Jewish people, we want you to study the Torah. In fact, the Greeks studied Torah themselves. We want you to follow certain commandments, but we only want you to do those commandments which are intellectually comprehensible. Something which you don't understand, something which you only do because God told you to do that we don't do. Greek philosophy was that you do something because it makes sense, because it's understood, and on the contrary, this is what makes you intelligent. This is what you should be doing. It was therefore that they started with the decrees that they gave against the Jewish people was that they should not do circumcision, have the laws of Rosh Chodesh by the new moon, or Shabbat. Because all of those commandments symbolize our connection to God. The same idea is, why did the Greeks come? They didn't remove the oil from the Holy Temple. They defiled the oil in the Holy Temple. They made sure to take those oils that were pure and had a seal of the high priest on it, that it was absolutely pure and uncontaminated. They made sure to break the seal and contaminate them. Because over here, the Greeks came along to the Jewish people and said, what makes something holy, what makes something unholy? Because God said so? Take God out of the equation. You're smart people. And in fact, this was the way they tried to get the Jews to assimilate amongst with the Greeks, which were called misyavnim, and they were successful, unfortunately, to a certain extent. And Jews assimilated and became part of the Greek culture to serve their body and not their soul. The Greeks intended to teach people and to try to get the Jews to focus on their body and ignore their soul. And therefore, any type of mitzvah which related to the concept of showing the soul's dominance, showing the importance of the soul, or the fusion of body and soul to connect to God, they look to destroy. Therefore, they said, studying Torah to small children, why should you study Torah to small children? What kind of intellectual understanding can children have from it? Just to teach it to them? Absolutely not. Therefore, we know the story of the dreidel, where they tried to stop the Jewish children from studying Torah. They went into the Holy Temple and looked for every single flask of oil to defile it and say, we don't believe in laws that are above and beyond our comprehension. We only follow laws which make sense to us. We only follow laws which should have a rationale. But what was the miracle of the oil? What was the miracle of Chanukah? Was that oil. Oil, in contrast to any other type of liquid, always floats to the top. You put oil and try to mix it with anything you have, and the oil will always rise. Oil at the same time has an interesting dichotomy. While it always floats to the top, but at the same time it saturates and penetrates anything it touches. Over here, God was telling the Jewish people that your connection to God is something that rises to the top. There's nobody that can interfere and no one can touch it. The Jewish people are untouchable forever. They are a nation that are loved by God, and for the past 3,000 years, come who may be, we always were around. Whatever tragedy, whatever happened. And at the same time, God tells the Jewish people that we are like oil, that our job is to be a light unto the nations, that we must saturate and penetrate the physical, change the world around us and not allow it to be the way it is. This was the message of Chanukah, the miracle of the oil. It wasn't just about finding a flask of oil and it was burning for 8 days. It wasn't just that they found them studying with the Torah and they were able to celebrate and be able to move on studying the Torah with their splitting of the dreidels. Yes, there were other miraculous events of wars, the few onto the many, but every single aspect of the war symbolizes this exact ideal, which was the Greeks were about body over soul, the Jewish victory was soul over body. Take, for example, the victory that they tried to show, the mighty over the weak, the many over the few. Our physical, the materialistic world is mighty comparatively to the soul who is quiet, innate, and dormant. The physical soul, the physical body is mighty, it is many. There are so much more physical temptations out there than spiritual temptations. As the famous adage of Rabbi Yitzchak of Berditchev, and he told God, what's the challenge? You've put the physical temptations in front of us and the spiritual ones in the book. Switch it around and see how we react. The world we live in is a world that the Greeks tried to get us to assimilate in. A world that is full of focusing on bodily ideas instead of spiritual and soulful ideas. The many over the few, the strong over the weak. The oil of the menorah. As in the words that we say in the V'yal Nisim and the miracle that God had done to us when we say it in our prayers. B'mei Matisyo, in the day of Matisyo, Lahashkicham Torah, they tried to make us forget your Torah. They had no problem with you studying Torah, but to forget that it was God's Torah. And what did God make the miracle with? The oil. The oil burned for 8 days, beyond rationale. There was only enough oil for 1 day to show that the connection to the Jewish people is above and beyond. We are not limited to natural events. Yes, there was only enough for 1 night, but it burned for 8 nights without a problem, without a hitch. Yes, we were only few, but we were able to overcome the many. We may have been weak, but we were able to overcome the mighty, telling every single Jew in his own personal life. We have so many times that we're countered by so much outside of us. There may be so much trying, so many mighty people trying to convince us and persuade us to do things which are materialistic and physical and deter our relationship from God. Comes the menorah and teaches us the miracle of Chanukah. The miracle of Chanukah celebrates soul over body, celebrates few over the many and the weak over the mighty. That we may be weak. Our soul may not be that strong, but we have a soul. We have that oil, and it will forever float to the top. Recognize the miracle that God is giving every single one of us. The miracle of Chanukah has an unbelievable message. While you look at the story of Chanukah, it happened in the Holy Temple. Only the high priests were allowed to light the menorah. And how do we celebrate that every single person lights in their own home a menorah? God is telling every single one of us, I am making you a Kohen. I am making you a priest. You can make your home a holy temple. All you need to do is light the menorah. Bring some oil in your life. Bring some light into your life. Realize that you can rise above the occasion. There's nothing stopping you because you are a miracle. My dear friends, as we come tonight, as we're going to light the menorah tonight, it is our opportunity and it is our job to remember this message, to listen to the flames of the menorah, and remember that we are a miracle rising above while saturating everything that comes with us. Remember that God is making you a Kohen, a priest, to light the menorah, to make your home a Beis HaMikdash, a holy temple. Don't forget to light the menorah tonight, which makes sure that it lasts at least a half hour, that it should be lit during dark a half hour. If you need a menorah or candles or oil or any of your Chanukah supplies, a latko, a donut, or you want us to come and visit you and bring some holiday cheer, please feel free to reach out to me. I'll be more than happy. Tonight, we'll be having our Chanukah celebration at the Brookhaven Town Hall parking lot, outdoor lighting with some music, donuts, latkes. Please make sure to join us 6 p.m. at the Brookhaven Town Hall. Looking forward to celebrating with you, wishing you a happy, illuminating Chanukah. God bless you. Have a wonderful day. Chag Sameach and Chanukah Sameach.